Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the UC Riverside School of Medicine White Coat Ceremony for our class of 2021. So my name is Neil Schiller. I'm the Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and it's my honor to introduce you to our newest class of students, the class of 21, which will be led out by my colleague, Dr. Gerald McGuire, Associate Dean for Graduate Medical Education and Chair of Psychiatry. Dr. McGuire, please lead the class of 2021. Welcome, class of 2021. All right. To begin our program this evening, please join me in welcoming the Mark and Pam Rubin Dean and CEO for Clinical Affairs, Dr. Deborah Dees.
Good evening, and welcome to this very special event. On behalf of the medical school faculty, I am thrilled to see so many family members, friends, supporters, and colleagues join us in saluting the class of 2021. This is our fifth and largest class of medical students at the UCR School of Medicine. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the supporters who have joined us this evening, many of whom have supported this school from the very beginning. Please hold your applause until all individuals and organizations have been recognized. A warm welcome and our appreciation to several local elected officials and their representatives. Riverside County Supervisor Chuck Washington, and representatives for State Senator Richard Roth and Assembly Member Jose Medina. I am also pleased to welcome our leadership here at UCR. And I welcome the leadership of Riverside County Medical Association, the Riverside Community Health Foundation, Desert Health Care District, the J.W. Vines Medical Society, and the Inland Empire Scholarship Fund. A very special welcome on behalf of the School of Medicine and the campus goes to Dr. Thomas Hyder and Ms. Salma Hyder, who are an integral part of our history. 24 students in the class were chosen as Thomas Hyder Scholars in the UCR School of Medicine. Each one of these students are part of a visionary legacy established by Dr. and Mrs. Thomas Hyder to train UCR graduates to become distinguished physicians. Several members of the campus executive leadership have joined us this evening to welcome the class of 2021. A warm welcome and thanks to Cindy LaRive, Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor, James Sandoval, UCR's Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Associate Chancellor Christine Victorini, Kaleki Kulu, Vice Provost of International Affairs, and Sarah Sharp Ayton, Interim Dean of University Extension. Also, Stephen Mandeville Gamble, Librarian. Our thanks to each of you for joining us this evening for this special ceremony. Finally, a very special greeting to the family members and friends of our newest class of medical students. You have performed a vital role in the support system that helped your son, daughter, granddaughter, grandson, nephew, niece, or friend achieve the milestone of entering medical school. Undoubtedly, you will travel the journey with them over the next few years and beyond. This evening is devoted to recognizing our medical students who are entering the first chapter of their lives as physicians. And this evening also celebrates what you have done to get them here, your love, commitment, and sacrifice. We thank you. Students, it is an honor to be with you tonight to celebrate this joyous occasion. You are joining the medical school at an exciting time. Our first class of medical students graduated in June and are now in residency training programs. We have expanded residency and fellowship training opportunities in the inland Southern California. And we received full accreditation from the Liaison Committee on Medical Education. I can assure you, this is only the beginning. Today, you are embarking on an important journey, one that will start a lifelong commitment to the study of medicine. You're here because you want to help and heal people, and you are passionate about our mission. Soon, you will be receiving your first white coats, representing the beginning of your medical training and the first interactions with your patients. The white coat is a powerful symbol of the medical profession, a symbol of healing. It symbolizes the values of humanism in medicine: compassion, altruism, respect, excellence, service, integrity, and empathy. I encourage you to think about what it means to wear it every day, and I hope that you wear it with pride and professionalism. You are among the few chosen to walk this challenging and rewarding path, and I hope you will be honored to wear it throughout your careers. On behalf of the faculty of the UCR School of Medicine, we look forward to joining you on this journey. Congratulations, class of 2021. And now, it is my utmost pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, Dr. Irfane Talamantes, the Associate Director for the Center for Reducing Health Disparities, and the Associate Director for the Internal Medicine Residency Program at the UC Davis School of Medicine. Dr. Talamantes received his MBA from Emory University in 2007 and his medical degree from the UCLA School of Medicine in 2008. He also received a Master of Science in Health Policy and Management degree from the UCLA Fielding School of Public Health in 2014. In his work with the Center for Reducing Health Disparities, Dr. Talamantes strives to improve healthcare access and quality for all. He is also co-founder of mementor.org, a national online mentoring community for aspiring healthcare professionals. And he is involved in various mentoring initiatives throughout the community. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker, Dr. Irfane Talamantes.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing out there? Everyone's looking beautiful. Let me just start there. My name is Efrain Talamantes. Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor Cynthia Larive, Dean Dees, family members, loved ones, and distinguished elected officials, community leaders, and guests. Welcome to the 2018 White Coat Ceremony at the UC Riverside School of Medicine. I'd like to begin by thanking the School of Medicine leadership for inviting me to speak, and many of you may be asking, why UC Davis, why University of California? I'm actually a Southern California native. There wasn't a UC Riverside School of Medicine when I applied, and kudos to the leadership in building this institution. It is with so much needs in the community I grew up in that inspired me to strive to become a physician. It was going with my own mother. My parents are here tonight, as many of your parents are, and going with her and interpreting, serving as an interpreter for her at the county hospital, waiting for hours for her to be seen when she had any medical complaint or illness. It was those stories that helped me and propelled me to continue to be disciplined, like all of you, to pursue my studies. And I'd like to begin by referencing one of my favorite proverbs, an African proverb, "It takes a village." It takes a village resonates with each of us on this monumental day. All of you can picture that village behind you, whether here or whether they're outside of these four walls. And there is without a doubt that every one of you worked very hard to get into medical school. However, we know that these difficult journeys, the pre-medical journey, was supported by dozens of teachers, professors, counselors, advisors, mentors, family members, and loved ones. Without any of you missing in that equation, we wouldn't be where we are today. So it really does take a village. And let us also remember our communities and the countless strangers that we served during our volunteer time that shaped who we became. Because many times, yes, we did the volunteer work, and yes, we moved on and we're becoming professionals, but many of them continue to suffer and have dire consequences because of the lack of access to care. So let us bring them into the room today. Bring your village, your pueblo, your city, all the great people to celebrate with us tonight. Congratulations to each of you on such an exciting milestone in your medical careers. Yes, those trying pre-medical times are over, right? Being a pre-med, most of us say, no, wouldn't do that again. And as each of you walks across the stage tonight to receive your white coat, your journey as a medical student and as a student doctor, a doctor in training, begins. So I'd like to reflect a little bit on what all that means, being a physician, being a professor, and having the privilege of teaching all of you. I began medical school in 2002 and completed my medical training almost a decade later in 2014, as you've heard, with all the different degrees and trainings I've received. A whole decade of training. This is after those horrible pre-med years. I mention this because my parents are in the audience, and like many of our family members and loved ones, I remember them asking me, as I was trying to get into med school, once I got into med school, to diagnose and treat them as if I knew anything, as if I was a real doctor. But Ma, Pa, I'm just a first-year medical student. Ma, but I'm just a second-year medical student, and so on and so forth. Well, they soon caught on that I didn't know anything, okay? Stop asking me. They lost track of what year I was. There was no hope. However, they did keep track of all my loans piling up. And they began to ask me when I would finish. When are you going to get a real job? Are you really going to be in school forever? When are you going to start paying your own bills? I mean, no offense to my family or to anyone else's family who will ask you these questions. As a first in my family to go to college, to medical school and beyond, I really learned to be patient and appreciate the journey. Not only as mine, but as one of us, my village. A family journey where it's basically, are we there yet? And sometimes that could be annoying, sometimes it's funny. But I took it as a great reminder of how special each of us are in this journey, as many of being the first to try to become professionals and serve our communities as healthcare providers, as physicians. And so as I reflected more and more on my life and the privileges I received in becoming a physician, I better appreciated the need to embrace a growth mindset. A growth mindset is one where you truly believe you can grow. And not only that you can grow, but that others around you will grow with you. It's to improve and to continue to learn no matter what, no matter how difficult the situations are or how challenging the times will be or become. And sharing this growth mindset with my village, my friends, my loved ones, and my community really allowed us to grow together. And everything I've accomplished so far, and I want to continue to accomplish, has been together. So I really want you to remember this message of having a growth mindset and sharing it with others in our communities who often feel like there's nothing they could do to ever improve their situations. So this growth mindset has allowed us to stay focused and not lose sight of the investments. I mean, Dr. Dees brought up the investments that it takes to have a school of medicine in a community like ours here. And I do not want you to lose sight of that, because every single one of you is part of that solution to continue to allow this profession to grow within the Inland Empire so that we can serve more and more patients. We share and will continue to share so many life experiences together. Many of you may not know me personally, may have heard of me, but I can tell you that it really is an honor and a privilege to welcome you to this demanding, yet humbling, but greatly most rewarding journey. So a little bit about the white coat ceremony. It began in 1993 by Dr. Gold at the Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. And it was a way for you to make a commitment earlier than waiting to graduate and take on the Hippocratic Oath. This white coat ceremony is important. It's an important ritual that welcomes students, their families, their loved ones, and their mentors to the practice of medicine. And it really elevates the value of humanism as the core of healthcare in our practice. The white coat ceremony is a rite of passage. This rite of passage is symbolic and a constant reminder of our professional duties to our patients, to each other, and to our communities. Your white coat is a constant reminder, as prescribed by Hippocrates, to lead honorable and righteous lives. Our white coat symbolizes a transition to a scientific approach to medicine, a commitment to our patients, our commitment to each other as colleagues, our commitment to our faculty, to our staff that are supporting us, thank you, here today, to our advisors, to our mentors, a commitment to our families and loved ones, a commitment to our communities, and a commitment to ourselves. So I'm going to share a couple of stories. One is about a commitment to our patients and the symbolism of the white coat. While short in length, if you could tell from the medical student white coats are shorter than the physician white coats. This is a long-standing tradition used to identify the role of a medical student. However, our patients often don't know the difference. And every single one of you, when you put on your white coat, will start to feel differently, sometimes uncomfortable. I see my medical students start twitching when they put on their white coat for the first few times. It takes a while to get comfortable. Remember, as you put on your white coat, your team and your patients will depend on you. And this reminds me of my time in medical school when I was on call late into a long night. We didn't have work hour restrictions before when I went to med school. But late into the night, I was caring for a patient, and I'm just going to call her Maria. And Maria had advanced breast cancer and had presented with many complications to the hospital. And I would take care of her, of course, with my team and my supervising physicians until she took her last breath. And then when I first began to take care of her, she was one of my first patients, one of the first patients that I knew was going to pass away. I was afraid to tell her I was a medical student, that I was just a medical student, because I wanted her to get more than just a medical student. And she sensed my lack of self-confidence. I would nervously share with her after every encounter and talking to her, I'm just a medical student. And Maria was gentle. I went on to form a really special bond with her and her family. And it was so, I still remember, and I'm getting a little emotional. It warmed my heart when her family invited me to Maria's funeral because I was her doctor. I wasn't just a medical student. And so as a professor in medicine, I've taken this early lesson and I share it with my students all the time. I tell them to walk in and have confidence and to let their patients know that you're a student doctor. And it takes them a few times. They have to stutter through it. They don't feel comfortable. They don't want to say that. But I remind them of how much work they've put in to become and embrace this role, but also that their patients are depending on them, and that oftentimes you as a student is what they'll have, because you'll have a little more time than the doctors, you'll have less patients than the doctors, and so you can spend a lot more time with them in times of need. And so embrace your role as a medical student in the classroom, but don't forget that you're a student doctor when you're caring for patients. The other commitment I'd like to talk to you about is the commitment to each other and as colleagues. Your white coat will signal to your colleagues the path you've chosen. They could see the tiredness in your eyes and the countless nights you've stayed up to study biochemistry or whatever other difficult course. They know how many tests you have coming up or what big tests you may have coming up. The white coat is a symbol of togetherness in the struggle to improve health, and that's not an easy one. It's a symbol of togetherness to prevent, to treat, and cure disease. And do not forget the togetherness in the journey. Your commitment to each other will seem impossible at times because you are going to have so much to study. You're going to have so much to do, so little time, and so many people depending on you. But I ask you to remember your commitment to each other, and every time you wear your white coat, to be able to look across and know when your colleague needs help. To support each other, not only through the successes, but also the struggles. One of my mentors during residency helped me better appreciate this message. There are limitations to the white coat. As we cared for patients, countless patients, he would always ask us, does your white coat make you invincible? Is it a cloak of invincibility to all the challenges of the world? And he made it very clear that it was a real privilege to care for others, and that we had to care for ourselves. And so don't feel bad when your mom or dad or your loved ones ask you if you've eaten enough. You're starting to look a little skinny there. Or, again, have you had something to eat today? Yes, Mom, I've already ate. I've had enough food. I need to study. Don't feel bad. Allow people to help you and support you in this journey so you don't feel alone. Cherish this care, promote your own self-care, and seek support regularly. So our white coats not only are symbols, but they have some important practical uses. They're used to carry our diagnostic equipment, our stethoscopes, our pen lights, our reflex hammer, maybe more than one if you're a neurologist. They serve as a repository for all your notes. Many times you'll be fumbling through all of them while you're trying to present to your attending. They're sort of a time capsule for each patient, for each rotation. But most importantly, these white coats will get soiled, they'll get dirty, and they'll need a really good washing. And a lot of our patients will remind us, you got a big old coffee stain there. You gotta get your coat washed. While at first you may not, or maybe some of us would be resistant to others washing our coat, I began to appreciate that it was an opportunity for my mom and dad to cherish in my journey to become a doctor. And so although I wanted to wash it and it would come out all wrinkled, every time they would see it, they would say, mijo, let us wash your white coat. Let us press it for you because it looks bad. You don't want to show up in front of patients like that. Every time, I could see in their eyes that every time they got to wash my coat, while it seems like a silly opportunity, or maybe one that's not that great of an opportunity, they were able to relive my commitment to humankind and to relive today's celebration. And it was also an opportunity for them to ask me how I was doing. I got to see them, I had to pick up my coat, I had to bring it back to med school. And so even if you go home for the holidays, and that may be the only time you have time to allow them to wash your coat, just let them do it. So as we profess today's oath in front of our family and community, we acknowledge our central obligation of always caring for our patients with compassion and excellence. And I'll leave you with one important reflection and a quote that I adapted from one of my favorite writers, Junot Diaz. Everyone is telling you to hurry, while our patients are telling us to take our time. So always listen to your patients, show compassion and excellence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Talamantes. I think you can see why we chose him. Good evening. My name is Paul Lyons, and I'm the Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, and we would like to thank Dr. Talamantes for joining us tonight. And now I really can. I've invited Dr. Dees to join me here in presenting a gift of appreciation. And although you can't see it from the cheap seats in the back, it is inscribed, "For your inspiring presentation to the class of 2021 and your support of California's new, fully accredited medical school, we present this commemorative white coat as a symbol of our deep appreciation." At this time, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Michael Dwadi, Senior Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs and the Namer of Names, to the podium to lead us in presenting members of the class of 2021 their first white coats.
Thank you, Dr. Lyons. I would like to invite my colleagues, Dean Deborah Dees, Dr. Neil Schiller, Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and Dr. Emma Simmons, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, to join me in the presentation of the white coats to the class of 2021. I ask that everyone please remain seated as our students receive their white coats. Please know that we have professional photographers present to capture each student's moment on stage so you can enjoy this special part of the ceremony. Dr. Gerald McGuire and the class of 2021, please stand and step forward. I would like to welcome our first student across the stage, Ashley Advincula. Marlene Alfaro. Linus Ameriqua. Juan Jose Arguello. Sade Ari Uribo. Koi Bak. Mohsen Bagchachi. Nusha Bavarian. Maura Bacera. Taher Baiji. Irvin Calderon. We want to recognize a student who was unable to attend tonight's ceremony, Noel Cohen. Jasmine Correa. Julius Daniels. Asha Dasika. Renee De La Para. Julia Ruby DeVito. Dave Singh Dillon. Catherine Michelle Dominici. John Milo Dover. Queen Evie Cleopatra Iguebor. Eileen Francis. Camila Garcia Paz. Andrea Michelle Gochi. Kathy Gomez. Jennifer Grinsiri. Yasmin Gutierrez. Lana Haddad. Michael Anthony Hall, Jr. Ikra Iqbal. Josue Gloria Jimenez. Nikita Kadakya. Joyce Kim. George Lee. Antonio Loza. Annie Lyon. Amy Lee Martin. Joseph Benjamin Miller. Tyler Moreno. Cyrus Nguyen. Nicholas Noti. Michelle Oberoi. Rebecca Ocher. Yatna Patel. Naresh Pereira. Brandon Choi Fong. Miguel Quispe Sanchez. Kareem Rashid. Aladino Razo. Archana Reddy. Josué Renaga. Troy Ruff. Christian San. Leon Siniwiratni. Preston Satoras. Jordan Smith. Michelle Nicole Smith. Jordan Town. Saeed Abdullah Udin. Alfonso Vera. Fung Vo. Gurjot Singh Walia. Marjorie Teresa Wimmer. Joseph Wong. Stephanie Wong. Jennifer Yu. Again, congratulations to the UC Riverside School of Medicine class of 2021. At this time, I would like to invite my colleagues to be seated and Dr. Paul Lyons to return to the podium and lead us in reciting the UC Riverside Medical Student Oath.
White becomes you. At this time, I would like to ask our stage party, the class of 2021, and any physicians joining us this evening, to please rise to recite the UCR Medical Student Oath. For those of you in the audience who are choosing to join us, you'll find that at the back of this evening's program. All set? You only get one chance to get this right. Please read along with me. Today, I begin my training to become a physician. As such, I will dedicate my life's work to improving the health and well-being of my patients and to the prevention of human suffering as a basic human right. As I pursue my studies in the art and science of medicine, I will not lose sight of the importance of integrity and honor. I will use the skills and knowledge I will gain to heal and, above all, do no harm. I will honor always the profession of medicine, be gracious to my colleagues, counsel them when needed, and help sustain them in our shared service to humanity. I embark on this pathway with many pillars of support. Faculty, mentors, and peers assist in my education. Just as I will learn from those who preceded me, I will contribute to the growth of those who succeed me in the practice of medicine. I will remain cognizant of the limits of my knowledge, seek counsel when appropriate, and always pursue a path of learning to better serve my future patients, their families, and my community. Among the attributes most respected in physicians, I will embrace compassion, empathy, ethics, and honesty. My future service as a healer and my relationships with my peers and colleagues will not be adversely affected by race, ethnicity, religion, nationality, age, physical or mental ability, financial or social status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. I will be a strong advocate for patients in need and strive for justice in the care of the sick and the underserved. I will keep in strict confidence anything I see or hear of the lives of my patients. I understand the sacred trust that will be bestowed upon me as a physician. As such, I will hold myself above any wrongdoing or malice and never tolerate deception or fraud. In being true to this oath, I freely promise to uphold the finest traditions within the practice of medicine. Thank you. Please be seated. This concludes our ceremony for this evening. We ask that the audience remain seated as the stage party and students recess from the venue. Once the class of 2021 has left the auditorium, please join us next door for a reception and celebration. Thank you again to families, friends, colleagues, and supporters for joining us this evening, and congratulations once again, the best looking class we've had thus far, the class of 2021.
Thank you.